The year is 1959. Ford would make an all-new inline six, starting out with a smaller displacement to replace its mileage maker or cost clipper six. This would be the third generation of Ford inline six and was called by different names: Ford Thrift Power, Falcon 6, or Small 6. Ford's all-new 6 was small and lightweight. It was a overhead valve design with improved oiling system, spin-on oil filter, wedge-shaped combustion chambers that were compact in size, built of cast iron, and it used the thin wall casting that Ford was using with their V8s. The block weighs about 83 pounds. Short stroke design intake for most engines in this family, most, not all, were cast into the head. Introduced in 1959 for the 1960 model year, 144 cubic inch displacement overhead valve inline 6, 2.4 liters. It's good for anywhere between 84 to 90 horsepower at 4,200 RPM, 134 pound-feet, or 182 newton meters at 2,000 RPM with a bore of 3.5 inches and a stroke of 2.5 inches. Compression is 8.7 to 1 for main bearings. This engine weighs, with all of its accessories attached, less than 350 pounds. This engine was not a powerhouse, but it could get up to 30 miles per gallon. This was the economy engine, and it could be found in the Ford Falcon, the Ranchero, Mercury Comet, Ford E Series. Years this engine was used was between 1960 through 1964. In 1961, Ford would stroke the 144, going from 2.5 to 2.94 inches in the stroke, bringing displacement up to 169.7, oftentimes referred to as the 170 cubic inch displacement overhead valve inline 6, 2.8 liters. It's good for 101 horsepower at 4,400 RPM, 156 pound-feet, or 212 newton meters at 2,400 RPM with a bore of 3.5 inches and a stroke of 2.94 inches. Compression is 9.1 to 1 for main bearings. This engine also weighed around 350 pounds, less than 350 pounds, I should say. And the years this engine was used was between 1961. Sources conflict on when it was canceled. It was either 1972 or 1973. And it could be found in just about anything from the Comet to the Falcon, Ranchero, you name it, it was probably in there. Maverick. Introduced in the middle of 1963, both bore and stroke were increased, bringing displacement up to 200 cubic inch displacement. But this engine would see a huge improvement in 1965. The 200 from 1963 through 1964 had 4 main bearings, just like all the previous engines, and had 3 core plugs. The 1965 upgrade added 2 more core plugs, bringing it to 5 core plugs, which makes it easier to differentiate between the different versions. It also got 3 more main bearings, bringing the total main bearing count up to 7 instead of 4. Also, with the 7 main bearing crankshaft, it reduced harmonic vibrations, also improved crankshaft rigidity. It's also important to note that the 4 main bearing crankshaft was fully counterweighted. The 7 main bearing crankshaft was lighter because it was only partially counterweighted. Ford also opened up the ports and valve sizes. 200 cubic inch displacement overhead valve inline 6, 3.3 liters. It makes up to 120 horsepower at 4,400 RPM, 190 pound-feet, or 258 newton meters at 2,400 RPM with a bore of 3.685 inches and a stroke of 3.126 inches. Compression is 8 to 1. Years this engine was used was between 1963 through 1964 with the 4 main bearing crankshaft. Years 1965 through 1983 with the 7 main bearing crankshaft. Moving on to the biggest and baddest engine in this engine family, Ford would increase the stroke for the final time, going from 3.126 inches to 3.91 inches. In order to do this, Ford had to raise the block 1.66 inches, which made displacement 250.2 cubic inch displacement overhead valve in line 6, 4.1 liters. It's good for anywhere between 88 to 155 horsepower at 4,400 RPM, 240 pound-feet, or 325 Newton meters around 2,400 RPM with a bore of 3.685 inches and a stroke of 3.91 inches. Compression was 9-to-1, 7 main bearings. The 250 also had larger main journals, which were the same size used in the Ford 289 V8. This one had a bolt-on intake manifold. Years this engine was used was between 1969 through 1980. It could be found in the Ranchero, the Torino, Ford Mustang, Maverick, Granada, and Mercury Comet. Ford would replace the small 6 with the Essex V6 in 1982, but as they say, that's another engine episode for another day. All right, now it's time for Would You Rather. 2 scenarios today. Which one would you rather have with the Ford Small 6? 1966 Ford Mustang Fastback, or 1971 Ford Maverick, or 1967 Mercury Comet. I'm going to leave this here for a minute. If you need more time, feel free, pause the video. On to the second scenario. 1960 Ford Falcon Ranchero, or 1961 Ford Econoline Truck, or 1970 Ford Ranchero. Once again, going to leave this here for a minute. If you need more time, feel free, pause the video. Now it's time for Name That Tune. First person to give both the name of the band and the song title correctly in the comment section will have their comment pinned to the top of it. Thank you all so much for coming out and watching this. If you'd like to get in touch with me, shoot me a comment in the comment section below. Or check out our Facebook group that correlates with this YouTube channel, which I will try to link in the description below. If you don't have Facebook and would still like to reach me, send me an email at what_its_like@yahoo.com. Thanks again for everything that you guys bring in the comment section and making this a car community. I love the stories and the memories that you guys share. Until next time, toodaloo!
Hey, boy. I don't have legs.
Hey, what's going on, bud?
He wants a steak.
He wants the steak.
Oh, he got it that time.
Right now.
Ah, he got it.
You wasn't supposed to give it to him yet.
He got it. I didn't give it to him. He ripped it out of my hands.
I want to see the crazy eyes. Here, I'm going to put it right here. Look at him.
When's your next day off?
Look at him. He looks so innocent, doesn't he? Oh, he's getting vocal.
Oh my gosh, he scratched me.
Hey, Archie.
Dog.
Where's the crazy eyes?
Grandma took Chloe.
Put it right here.
He's gonna get it.
I know that. I want to see the crazy eyes.
Oh, he got the bread.
You got the bread. Coming back for it.
Oh, he got the steak. Yes.
Tennis shoes, like a good pair of tennis shoes, and I need a couple of shirts that isn't t-shirts for work.
Smell how good that smells.
But
He's going to take it from you. He's just waiting for the right moment.
shopping, the clothes are so ridiculously expensive. I don't, with my job, I don't want to.
You look ridiculous, Chloe. And your shorts and your sweater. your shorts and your sweater, you look ridiculous.